All right, let's get started. Just 1 second. Hi, everyone. Good evening. And dear jury members, thank you for joining us on Saturday evening. This is Maharajan, and it's pleasure to be a host for next couple of hours. The Institute of Product Leadership proudly welcomes you all for Skillathon in agent-driven automation in products by the cohort of AI Product Management and Certification Program. Our participants will present their innovative solutions, and our esteemed juries will evaluate them on key parameters. As Skillathon Go promises to be an evening filled with challenges, excitement, and skill demonstration. So this is an event where top shortlisted participants from the cohort present their innovative solutions and present their hands-on projects and portfolios towards assurance of skills to demonstrate the problem statement and agentic AI opportunity, agentic value proposition and business strategy alignment, multi-agent architecture design, deployment consideration. Before we get started, I'd like to thank audience and juries for joining us on Saturday evening. Today's session is going to be, will definitely a great learning takeaway, and the cohort will also walk the talk, IPL mantra, learning by doing. And the audience will not just witness it live, but will also get an opportunity to vote. I'll get to that in a bit. Okay, let's move on. So let me begin this session by giving you a quick insight into what is Skillathon and why IPL emphasize on Skillathon being the real test of skills. Skillathon is an event where top performing learners demonstrate their understanding of skills and applications of the same in context of real world product areas as part of their learning journey. Uh, and they present it in front of their industry experts and other learners. At IPL, we replace examinations with Skillathon, and we have a strong philosophy which is learning by doing. The institute strongly believes that the real test of skills is by demonstrating your idea to the live audience and industry experts. Yeah. So without further delay, let's welcome uh, the juries for the day. We have three prolific juries from the industry. First up, we have Frederick Bosco, sir, who's a SaaS AI leader at Oracle. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you for inviting me.
And we would like to hear a quick introduction about you, sir.
Hey, sure. So I work at Oracle as a AI product leader. My focus is around how we can use AI to improve the productivity of product management, right? So I mean, like we always thought about product management as like a list of functions, like when it comes to like building PRDs, like product requirement documents, roadmap, and whatnot. So the goal is to see how we could leverage AI so that like we can ensure like everyone can do the same product management functions in a much effective way. So before, like again, I moved to Bangalore recently, so I was working in Seattle, like again at Oracle, managing some of the OCI security products. So I have like a good amount of experience in product management. I have worked in like three different companies around there, like Symantec, not an antivirus company, and then Intel around like compute infrastructure, and then Oracle. So happy to share my perspective. Again, AI is evolving. We're all learning. So though I'm here as a jury, I mean, like I will share what I know. At the same time, I'm looking forward to learning from you guys as well. What do you guys have?
Thank you so much, sir. Pleasure to have you today. And second up, we have Pulkit Kapoor, sir, who's a general manager of product management at Samsung R&D and Institute. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hey,
And would like to hear a quick
sure,
introduction
sure,
about
sure,
you.
sure. Hello, everyone. This is Pulkit here. I come with 15 years of industry experience into product management, and currently I'm leading couple of product initiative at Samsung. As you know, Samsung being one of the industry leaders, which is already adopting AI from last couple of years now. So I take care of the health side of the division, meaning the portfolio. which comes, you have a smartwatches, you have a smart rings, and you have Samsung Health application in all the mobiles. So, I take care of that side of the product, and looking forward for the, for the Skillathon today as a jury member. But yeah, as Frederick mentioned that AI is evolving, so each and every one of us are learning at any moment in time.
Thank you, sir. Looking forward. Yeah. And last we have Aravindh sir. Hello, sir. Hello, Aravindh sir, and who's a data and AI product leader at Salesforce. Hello, sir. Welcome, and would like to hear a few and quick introduction about you.
Hey, sure. Hey, everyone. Happy to be here. So I'm Arvind. I'm currently leading some of the AI and data product efforts over at Salesforce. Salesforce, we are at the forefront of enterprise agentic transformation of all the biggest enterprises in the world today, and we have a few products around agentic AI like Agent Force and Data Cloud and how it can be surfaced intuitively to the end users. Like Slack is also a product that we had acquired a few years back. So there are a lot of these foundational pieces that interlink together seamlessly and help an enterprise undergo this latest and probably greatest digital transformation, right? So that's my current stint. Before this, I've been in the AI products and data product space for a while, more than 10, 12 years now. So initially, I was at American Express. I built out the first recommender systems and digital personalization sort of systems over there. So I have really been alongside this journey of AI in the sense that back when only predictive AI used to exist, up until let's say about 5, 6 years back or so, when 𝗏𝗏 or BERT and all of those came in, and the basics of the generative AI wave were, or the foundations of that were laid down, and attention is all you need paper and all of that. So have had the luxury or opportunity to watch some of these things from the front line, and happy to share and also learn from any inputs anybody here is able to offer.
Thank you, sir. That's great, and looking forward. And once again, thank you, juries, for joining us on Saturday's evening, and really looking forward, right? Okay, let's move on. So let me set a quick guidelines for today's session. So we have the teams aligned for the presentation. So the time limit allotted for the team is going to be 10 minutes. Then we'll go for the jury's feedback, Q&A and feedback actually. I have a timer with me, so I will start the timer once your introduction starts, your timer starts, and at 7th minute I'll give a gentle reminder, and 10th minute it's going to be hard stop. Right? And only juries can ask questions to the participants after the presentation. Everybody get to vote as an audience, and please note the jury score has an highest weightage, and juries can give the score out of 5. So 5 being the highest and 1 being the lowest as a rating, and we'll move for, like after the presentation, it's going to be feedback and it's going to be scoring. Then we'll move to the audience poll. We'll move to the next team accordingly. Okay, great. Okay, so without further delay, let's get into the presentation. So the presenters for the day, the first up, the team is going to be Harish and Bhavna. Harish and Bhavna, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so who's presenting the screen, Bhavna?
I can present.
Okay, wait a minute. Yes, Harish, I think the access is given. You can go ahead with the presentation.
Sure. Okay. Please let me know if my screen is visible.
It is visible. Can you put it on slide screen, please?
I will.
Slideshow. Yeah, you can start.
All right. Thank you, team. Thank you for this opportunity. Bhavana, would you like to start with the first screen?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Harish. Good evening, everyone. So what we are presenting today, so our product is Omni Connect Assist Flow. Harish, can you go to the first page, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So what our solution says that we are a leading provider in communication platform for enterprises. So we have our product integrated with multiple intra communication tools like messaging, video conferencing, and other collaboration tools. What our core problem we are trying to showcase here is that we are in the recent time we are facing major inefficiency, how in especially in our support issues, where multiple complex issues are being handled. It is taking too much of time. We have a lot of manual work to do. We doesn't have proper categorization. That's what we observed. And the L1, L2 support teams, they have to switch between multiple teams and multiple screens to come to the conclusion. And they have to coordinate between the teams manually. So basically, we are facing this swivel chair effect. If you can go to the next slide, Harish. So that's what we are facing now. We are 40% of total resolution time. The agents are wasting. Our current average resolution time is 72 hours, which is we are aiming to reduce. And our projected or what we received from the teams, we are having annual loss of 1.5 million because of this inefficiency. If you can go to next slide. Yeah. So this is our user persona. We have chosen specially this. We have multiple few, but especially this because in the phase 1 we are trying to make this person's or this user persona's life easy. As we earlier mentioned, the pain points are they have to switch systems, 5 to 7 systems, a lot of manual process. But his goal is to have data ready to resolve the issues so that he can have high CSAT score. And if he can, he's asking for automated workflows and unified customer data flow. If you can move on to next slide, Harish. Thanks. Here we are trying to propose a solution, not to replace human in loop is the approach we are trying to adopt here. But what we are looking that our agent monitor, understand the problem, gather in information automatically from the systems, coordinate between the systems, take action and assign the ticket to appropriate queue. And if possible, try to reduce the time to 4 to 5 hours instead of 72 hours. So this we arrived after assessing our problem statement and assessing value proposition basically.
Right. So just to add, sorry, Bhavana, if I can interrupt.
Sure.
Yeah, just to add, gentlemen, so basically we are working in all L2, L1 supports as well in our organization. I'm working as a AGM in HCL. So one thing what we observed was like too much of dependencies with our GTP, that was L1, L2 support team. Not because of their inability of doing the things, but because of their time availability of answering all the questions from multiple downstreams and upstream system. So we were trying to, in the real world, I was trying to implement this in my organization as well. So we are actually trying to avoid that kind of people dependency to a process dependent. So this process, what we are discussing now, will help us to come out of that people dependency to a process dependency kind of, with a feedback loop and all kind of additional learning to the, not LLM, I would say, but additional learning to our models. Sorry, Pavna, please go ahead.
And while proposing this solution, we have used generative AI and agentic AI both. We have used customer feedback and communications we have received earlier and we have done sentimental analysis, surveys, and interviews. Kind of process we have taken through to create pain and gain map and to arrive to this solution. That's how we have come here. So by implementing this solution, what we forecast is we will have 30 to 40% faster issue detection, We will have cross-system orchestration. That means 40% less time teams will take to switch between the system. They will have their data ready, and obviously as a result of it, our CSAT will improve for the L1 and L2 support teams. Yeah, Harish, if you can move on.
Yeah, I think I'm already in the hybrid multi-agent architecture problem.
You want to share then?
Yeah, sure. So basically, we have implemented 3 agents. One is our triage agent, and the triage agent will decide like whether this issue ticket has to be resolved or it has to be escalated. Probably, I will directly go to our model and explain that. Right. So this is how we have implemented this one. We have our own rack system with our previous histories and previous knowledge. What we have, and this is our triage agent. He is deciding whether this support ticket which any person is raising is going to be a ticket which can be resolved in a go with the existing intelligence, or if it has to be escalated to a kind of an agent, a human agent who can resolve this. So as an example, like if any simple query is like how can I check my bandwidth use as an example, like this is a very quite common query that anyone can be resolved without a human interference. So we will process this with a already existing intelligence or already existing experience whatever agent has, and it will automatically resolve this query without without providing this to any human agent. Apologies, it's just. Sorry, it's taking a little more time more than what it normally takes.
Meanwhile, maybe a couple of points to add to the workflow we are running here. The goal of the trial agent is correctly
Team,
understand.
sorry to interrupt. You have last 3 more minutes.
Sure. What triage agent is doing is that it is the goal is or task assigned to triage agent is to correctly understand what is the customer issue and coordinate with between the teams. Then we have a knowledge agent. It gathers the data and tries to find out the resolution if we have something in the history, or tries to find from the data we have loaded in the system. And then we have workflow agent. It runs the workflow which we have designed in the system.
Correct. So now we have asked a little complex, I won't say it's complex, but little personal query like how to upgrade my bandwidth but not reflecting. So it's a personal query, not a generic query. So what this agent does is like he will hand over this ticket to he will escalate this ticket to a human being as a human agent, and he will provide the details that human agent can look into it. And if we provide a very generic query of like how can I check the bandwidth kind of which can be resolved directly with the already existing intelligence, he will normally provide the solution and he will automatically close. So this will help us to kind of reduce the human efforts in kind of analyzing the tickets, and then auto close the tickets which could be efficiently handled with the existing intelligence. Yes, Bhavna, over to you.
If you can go back to the
Sure.
presentation, please.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to show in these 2 slides, this architecture diagram, that how we are making better governance for the teams involved. That's what basically we are trying to show here. In the interest of time, maybe Harish, if you can move on to next. Yeah.
Sure.
So this is our strategic alignment with what we are trying to achieve here. Reduce under operational efficiency, save $1.5 million customer retention, for reduced churn, and for churn analysis, little bit we took help of predictive analysis in between, but not much we have used as a main. Mostly we have used generative AI and agentic AI. Revenue protection, and future scalability. Okay, if you can move on to next slide, please. Yeah, so this is our strategy. We have we have 4 phases for our project. We are in the phase 1, but we have decided that these would be our ethical guardrails. These are some things we will follow throughout the phases, that we have rule-based boundaries, and agents operate within the predefined rules. And if anything happening outside of that, then they are automatically going back to human in the loop. So basically somebody has to manually look into it. And we have done a lot of on what kind of question should not be answered, those kind of guardrails we have set. And then we have uploaded a lot of policy. So we have invested a
Team,
lot in
sorry to
policy-based controls.
interrupt. Your time is up. Maybe you
Okay.
can take additional 30 seconds and just summarize it.
Sure. If you can go on to next slide. So this is how our stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. This is what we are trying to do, and I think that's it from our side.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
team.
so much.
Yeah. All right. So quickly we'll move to the jury's feedback. Frederick, sir, you want to go first?
Sure. Can I take 10-20 seconds? Let me just summarize my
Yeah,
notes
sure.
and then, yeah. And I do have some questions, so I can ask questions, right? Not just the feedback.
No, it's Q and feedback.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah.
We are totally new to this one, Frederick, so we will more expecting questions from you for a learning perspective.
Meanwhile, Frederick, you are drafting, you're going through your notes. Can I ask one question?
Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
So you mentioned in the starting, Bhavna and Harish, that there are 5 to 7 systems which a human a human, will try to before answering a question, they need to, toggle between 5 to 10 systems. So how you have incorporated those 5 to 7 systems, agent or has a system, how you have incorporated in your architecture? Because I guess I didn't see that, coming in the reference architecture also.
Sure, Pulkit. I'll take one step behind that one. In our real-time scenario, what's happening is like we're working in a banking project and a German banking project. So we have multiple teams, upstreams and downstream, having their own specific set of knowledge to answer each problems. So if any downstream or any system ask a question, this person from my L1, L2 team has to toggle between all these teams to understand, first of all, like whose problem it is, in fact, to understand actually what is the problem. So what we are trying to do is like we will have a kind of a document in our RAG system. We'll upload these kind of documents and policies or whatever for that matter in our RAG system to improve the intelligence of our model, so that our triage agent simply can go and try to see whether this question can be answered with already existing intelligence. Yeah, and then he will decide whether it can be resolved or it can be given to an agent, human agent. If I could answer that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I would like to add, a more layer to it, because,
Sure.
one or two projects I have done on a similar line.
Yeah.
So how it happens is like, how I have done it, because, it can happen at anywhere, any moment in time. So how we have done it is like, there are 5 systems, and all of these 5 systems are 5 different specialists in their area. Let's say, a system was in a specialist, let's say, you can maybe, finance. Second part is HR. So I will design a orchestrator first, a orchestrating agent who is going to decide to which agent this query should go. If it is related to HR or finance or any other field, it should go to the proper agent, and the agent should be responsible to answer that query instead of the orchestrator itself answering it, because it may happen, as you rightly mentioned, that always won't have the sufficient or enough information. So
Correct.
let the agent take this call on behalf of the orchestration and then take it forward. Because when I was going through the topic name, you have mentioned orchestrator somewhere, so I thought you are designing orchestrator will do the similar sort of approach.
Sure, that's a great approach, Puneet. I definitely will look into that for sure.
Okay. So yeah, let me ask the
Yes.
2-3 questions I have got, right? So first one is like, like nitpicking on few things. Again, you are pitching a sort of a proposal, a product or an agent proposal. So one of the first thing that I looked at is like, did you do some industry / market analysis to convince the audience that like, hey, there is nothing available and this is like something unique that we have to develop. So that's the right investment that we have to make, right? I think like that's sort of like some industry market context. I think like if you can add that into your proposal, I think that would be a huge plus. And then somewhere you talked about 40% agent time is maybe in slide number 2. So I think you have named the support person as an agent, and you're also talking about an agent solution. So it's sort of like, I got a little bit confused there, but later I realized like, hey, that's a small thing, but you have to fix those wordings there. And now coming to, was there any analysis done around like why agent is the way to approach this problem and why not a simple automation? I mean, like, have you guys done some any analysis around that?
Yeah, but our approach is to implement AI solution. So
Okay.
more emphasis was given in the research and analysis on AI solution rather than
Okay.
automation. But yes, we did some analysis. We had our minimal viable product and value proposition maps. We did our simple surveys and little bit of taking interviews around it, and then only we arrived at the solution. We tried to understand what we are trying to do and what we are trying to fix basically.
Okay.
So that all initial typical product management stuff we went through step by step, and then we arrived. Then during the journey, we realized that it's not only agentic AI we can solve. That's why we started with generative AI to create our base. For a little bit, as I mentioned, when it comes to customer churn, we thought predictive AI would help us better for a little bit section of it. And then we arrived to agents. Orchestration came into picture where basis on our understanding or what we have learned that there is a series of agents where typical tasks are assigned to those agents, and then it becomes agentic AI. So that's how
Okay.
we tried to came
Okay.
to a solution and the presentation. So
Okay. So
that's the step-by-step approach, step-by-step typical product management approach we try to adapt.
Yeah.
And
So
then
again, like
present.
the reason I'm asking this is like one of the common pattern that at least like I see is, I mean, developing something around agent now gets a lot of attraction, right? Like people suddenly jump on and say like there is a problem, I'm going to build an agent. But is agent the only solution, or maybe there is something easier way? Because building a solution using agent comes with its own cons, right? But this
Yes.
solution require an agent because there are a lot of decision making happens in the solution, right? Like there's an orchestrator agent tries to determine based on the input whether it should like just go get repository or just like use the data that it has in the cache to go address it. So you have chosen the right one, but I just want to make sure that an approach of identifying whether it's agent or not, I think that's always like the initial step that we should consider. And
Right.
the two other things I want to call out is, so most of the time when the agent retrieves the data, like, I mean, you talked about there is a ticket open, agent goes and looks for a like confidence score, looks at a ticket, like whether it's an existing ticket or maybe something, it's a new one. So all the data that we have today are more around written like for human to understand, right? I mean, like you're giving a bunch of data and then you go ask a prompt for AI to return a matching data. Most of the time it won't return the data that you need, right? So again, like based on your experience, I know like someone said that they have implemented in the work. So did you do any structuring of an existing data so that your agent is able to easily identify that, hey, this ticket belongs to this particular module or something, so that you get the right data that you need?
Yes, I mean, as part of testing, or we did that. We tried to
Segregate.
teach the model. We created for some files manually, and we tried to teach the models, then how and what kind of data this. So we did some, but
Okay.
of course we need to go deep down
Okay.
but yes, we did that.
Okay, got it. It's more like a question and feedback because like, again, this is one area where every company may be already implemented or implementing, right? Again, like it's also happening in my team. So some of the challenges that we face is how to structure, like build a middleman layer that can help the prompt to easily understand and go locate the right data so that it can sort of like address the tickets that we need. Okay. And
Okay.
two other things. So in your presentation, I did not hear anything around memory. Like for example, today when we build agents, one of the key attribute of agents is should it keep the context like for a entire session, or are we giving an option for the agent to enable a persistent memory so that when the next time an user comes and asks a question, can it like retrieve from the memory? So the
Maybe.
attribute of memory around agents, yeah, go ahead, Harish.
Yeah, maybe I can answer that question, Frederick, because I just deleted that memory in the afternoon when we were trying this one. So
Okay.
we had a chat history and the feedback loop. We were planning to do that,
Okay.
but chat history, because of our technical incapability of doing it, to be honest, we
Okay.
could not do that. But we were planning to incorporate that chat history and the feedback loop as well.
Okay. Awesome.
Technically,
Awesome.
we could not. That glitch was technical glitch, in fact.
Okay. Awesome. And the last one is, were there any explicit constraints that you had around the agent should not do something? Because we talked about what the agent should do, but we don't want the agent to go delete some tickets or take some decisions that we don't want the agent to take. So were there any explicit constraints that you thought about as well?
Yes, we were actually thinking of one possibility that like agent can be redundantly answering a same question in the same way. As an example, like if I raise a ticket, agent may close the ticket, giving some instructions. But as a user, I'm not happy with that ticket, and I raise again the same question, agent will again close the same ticket with his limited intelligence. So what we are actually thinking to do it like if an agent is kind of closing a ticket, similar ticket twice or more than once, then it will ideally go to an escalation agent, not to a kind of an auto closure kind of.
Okay. Okay. So you have an escalation agent. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
So again, like those are the a few points. Again, I like the quantifiable data that you had, right? Like you started off with the presentation that stating that like 72 hours, like CSAT. So instead of being very subjective or qualitative, again, I don't want to verify those data, but at least you've thought through that we need to have a quantifiable data, and then you're able to connect back at the end. By doing this, we are able to improve it by 10-20%, right? So again, those are all like a good signs around like proposing an idea. And again, like, thank you for taking the time to do this.
Thank you so much. And just to add one point, because you asked about us about constraints. So we tried a lot of what kind of questions should not be answered, how it should not hallucinate. So we did a lot of trials. So we tried to ask vague questions, out of way questions, nonsense questions. I think those kind of constraints we have taken care, at least we wanted to bring our MVP to a level at ethical guardrails also. So we have tried to adopt that in our model.
Okay.
As well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Right. Aravind, sir, you have your questions and feedback?
Yeah. It was a good topic to choose when it comes to agentic AI and its proliferation. Like aside from coding agents, customer service rep kind of a use case is one of the strongest and most well penetrated sort of use case. So in that sense, it is good. So I think Frederick mentioned or Pulkit mentioned, it would have been better if you had also leveraged on this that it's a slightly well understood area, AI agents in customer service, right? So, and you could have leveraged that and quoted how others have approached it, what you've learned from it, what you've tried differently. That would have been useful. Also, what would have been useful is to break down customer service as a problem statement, right? Like there are varied set of industries and problem statements, and there are customers and there are people who are supporting them. So the customer service rep team in a banking sort of a situation is going to behave very differently from, let's say, some other industry. So showcasing that and taking one or two examples which are clearly indicative that, okay, these are the simpler set of queries that come and bog down an agent perhaps. And these are the most complicated queries. And this is how I have constructed my golden data set. And that is how I'm iterating and checking about my system's improvement through different approaches that I'm taking. So that kind of cohesiveness would have made it better. How have you guys thought about golden data set and all so far?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
So there is this concept of golden data set. If that's a bit unfamiliar, I can maybe explain in different terms, and then maybe you
No,
can
please,
chat.
sure, Aravind. If I can explain, you can correct me if anything
Yeah.
goes wrong.
Yeah.
So what we actually thought our golden data set or single source of data is basically from our previous data sets, like the way how we resolved our old tickets. So we were actually considering a golden source as our previous resolutions and previous data sets, how we close the tickets and resolve the tickets, and also the policies and other documents. If I answered it correctly, Aravind, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
It's sort of on those lines only, and the reason it becomes important is it's a very iterative process, and as opposed to traditional software development, which is sort of deterministic, right? Like you have written a piece of code that will do the same thing time and again, whereas if you even use the same prompt, you even fix some sort of seed value, etc., and you ask. Even out of the box LLM, it will give different answers. There is temperature, there are so many reasons why it could vary. So it becomes all the more important to have a solid, you have a data set, but a solid grasp of the data set that, okay, this is a complicated end of the data set, this is a simpler end, and how is my model plus system performing through different iterations and changes and enhancements and
Situation.
that part would maybe you guys did a bit of it, but that's super important. So doing more of it doesn't harm in general. And how have you thought about the feedback mechanism from the end user or the humans involved here? Right? I know you mentioned briefly about CSAT, but can you maybe elaborate more?
Certainly. So unfortunately, we could not put it in our system at the moment in our land flow. I'm sharing my screen for a moment. But what we actually thought was how could I share it? Yeah. So we had a chat history and a feedback loop here, but we have deleted it because of our technical glitch. It was not working. So what we were actually doing is thinking of doing it of two ways. One, getting a feedback from customer over a chat or whatever way. Secondly, as in like thumbs up, thumbs down. If any thumbs up or thumbs down is coming, then we'll consider it as a kind of a feedback from customer, and we will slowly reduce the quality of the answers what our system is giving. So if it reaches to a level that it's only a 50% acceptable value from customer, then obviously then we are going back to our escalation agent. So that's how we were planning to take a feedback from customer and kind of decide whether it has to be escalated or to be closed. But in this system, we could not show that, Aravind.
Got it. And feedback extends more deeply as well, right? What you do in that particular loop, that is one part of it. And how do you take it and iterate and update your models, agents, orchestration, framework, those sort of decisions also slightly depend on it. So makes sense. This was good.
Sure. Thanks,
Yeah.
Aravind.
I think during whatever data we already had, we used that past data for some analysis and use generative AI, we mentioned in while we explained, but I think we also gave it a thought for customer feedback, the normal route, CSAT surveys and ticket reopening and complaint, as Harish mentioned. And we also tried to put a thought where how our agents can accept the suggestions, if they can modify, and then we have this information stored somewhere so that if something like this arrive again in the future, then we reuse that information as part of feedback or on job learning for agents, or we can call it as maybe.
Just to add to that, as Bhavana rightly mentioned, we were also planning to incorporate, our thought was there to incorporate a feature drift or a kind of a data drift. In the future it happens, then probably we will have to look into that. That was there in our predictive, what is a predictive capstone, which we have given, but we could not incorporate here. But that was actually a phase 2. We were thinking about a feature data drift as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Arvind sir. Pulkit sir, you want to add anything or get over questions?
No, I guess most of the things are covered. So yeah.
Okay, all right.
And
Okay,
maybe
thank you.
if you agree, I'm sorry if the time permits, Maharaj, and I have one question which is a problem what I'm facing, gentlemen. Like we were actually working, we are basically into kind of a service industry as HCL, and Bhavana is probably from a product. So the current challenge what we are facing is like we are giving lots of trainings to the entire team at all level from all aspects of AIs. But the challenge what we face is like how to make them think from a AI standpoint. Team holistically is not able to think after every training from a kind of a AI perspective. Do you face this challenge in your organization? And I wish to know that how did you overcome if you face this?
So what do you mean by AI perspective, Harish?
As in, like, they're still into a technical automation. If I ask them, would you come up with a use case or problem statement, they still think about automation, where AI is actually not required.
Okay. So again, like this is like a generic opinion. So the transition to AI is a massive transition. I mean, like not just from the technology, but the way that the roles are changing, right? The way you're going to write your specs and the people who are going to understand the specs, everything is like now getting into like more like, hey, a machine is writing, a machine is understanding. So as a human, when you're doing something, so you are always looking at like how a machine would understand, right? Like how a machine would take it to the end state. And this transition will take time because like there are resistance because like we are all used to a particular way of working, and now it's like things are changing. So we are taking it internally. The way that we are doing is we are forming a small core group. We are not like disturbing the entire team. And this core group is sort of like building things in small, who are like more open mindset, ready to do, learn. So we are like doing something in small chunks, bringing it back to the team and showing them more like a demo, like more like a presentation. Whoever wants to join in, they can join in and participate in those. So we're trying to like build the team slowly to understand those perspective. And I think like that's how we are inculcating the AI talent into the team. And it will take some time. And again, like it's not like something people are signing up and doing things on the fly. Yeah, that's right.
Understand that.
Again, that's my view. Yeah.
One thing just to add on top of what Frederick is saying, identifying the use cases is very important. You know, those use cases which cannot be solved with automation tools and those things, the legacy, legacy ones, maybe L1, L2 support can be easily sorted by our automation tools, which are already available in last 5, 10 years. So maybe those kind of a use cases or problem statement where we see that, only AI or agentic AI or generative, whatever is the, or maybe a on sort of a LLM, maybe you can train an open source LLM which is available on some data, on some your office or the industry data, and then try to get an answer. So those use cases, if we identify in the workplace, which can only be solved with AI, will give a engineer or the person, your team members, a leverage that I need to focus on this thing, then only I'll get an answer. So that kind of a use case will really help.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great insight.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Harish. Thank you, sir. All
Thank you.
right. So we'll go for the scores now. Pulkit sir, your scores for the team out of 5?
Do I need to give a reasoning also
Yeah,
with the
out
score?
of, yeah, yes. With reasoning also you can give. So
Okay.
5 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. I think I told you the guidelines.
So I would like to, keep this at three. Reason being, which is, not a very high, not a very low. Because, there are two aspects to it. One is team has beautifully, talked about, if I talk about product management skill point of view, they have, identify a problem statement where they say that I can say save some dollars. They have calculated $1.5 million, then our saving. So from that point of view, bang on that, we identify a problem, but at the same time the analysis, the maybe the primary research or a secondary research is what it was missing at, the jury members pointed rightly. And then the approach. So, for a problem from a PM perspective, we can have, multiple approaches to solve the problem. But good that the team has done a, wireframing or a, I would say a full stack sort of a solution with the help of a tool. I guess Longflow was the name of the tool. They have actually, played a agentic sort of a role, even though orchestrator was missing, but at the same time, things were there. Hence, a score of 3 out of 5.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
sir. Thank you so much. Frederick, sir, your scores for the team?
So I will give 4 out of 5. So I think one of the reason is the more I ask the questions, the team has thought through on like many vectors. For example, the memory, the in terms of the data store, like what structure, but it didn't come across well in the slides or maybe when they initially presented. And moreover, I also feel that this is an area where, I mean, agent can significantly help. I think identifying the right problem, applying the right solution, and also thinking through all those multi-agent, the hybrid multi-agent process. I think like there's a lot of value in that. So again, because of that, I'm going to give 4. And there are areas where they could improve, and that's the reason I'm not giving 5 out of 5.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Aravind, sir, your scores for the team?
Yeah, I'll also probably go with 3. The reason, like again, not to be considered as a very negative score or anything, right? But the reason, let's say I can go to 4 is generally this is a area wherein agentic AI application has slightly reached a more advanced level than other areas. So it gives the opportunity to go into depth and coming up with new insights or clearly highlighting the particular user problem and how agentic AI solves it, and when agentic AI becomes necessary. And even agentic AI and multi-agent are not synonymous. Like you can have single agent also. Multi-agent is not synonymous with the architecture chosen. There are multiple different architectures possible. So there are a lot of nuances. So the great things is the team was able to at least highlight the key factors. So memory, they've thought about it. They could say or relate to there being a concept called memory or there being a concept called context. So that is good. But each of these concepts have so much depth and interaction. So memory and context and accuracy and feedback loops and guardrails. So all of them, beyond knowing them as keywords, the more you're able to go into the interrelationship between those things, the more powerful your solution or the insight that you're talking about emerges out to be.
Thank you,
Sure.
sir. Thank you so
Thanks, Arun.
much.
Noted the point.
Yes. So now we'll go for the audience poll. Audience, like you see the QR code in the screen. Please scan this QR code and cast your votes for team one. You have 20 seconds.
Uh, Thank you for your time, Pulkit, Frederick, and Arvind, for us
So
today.
one minute, Bhavna. Sorry.
And for the-
So time is up. We'll go ahead and see what is the audience poll for team one. Yeah, that's the audience poll for team one. Thank you so much and all the best, team. Right. So
Thank you so
now
much.
we'll quickly move to team two. But before that, Bhavna, you want to say something?
I just wanted to say thank you to you as well, Maharajan.
Yeah. Okay. All
Thank
right. So team two is going to be Rekha, Rajiv, and Selvaraj. Team two, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Uh,
Rajiv, can you help me with presenting the screen, please?
yeah, I'll be presenting. So do you mind giving me the permission?
Yes, yes.
Sure.
Yes, Rajiv, you can go ahead. So
Thank you
once
so
your
much.
introduction starts, your timer starts. All the best.
Yeah, just give me a second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it is presented, Rajiv.
All right, perfect.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll start, Rajiv.
sure.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. So me and Rajiv will be presenting our agentic AI loan decisioning system, LoanWise. So just to give a brief context before I begin. So I have worked in banking and credit product roles earlier. So work closely with risk teams and with the credit underwriting teams. So what stood out is that credit decisioning is done manually. It's based on manual judgment. It's spread across different systems. There is a policy verification system, and then there are income assessment, risk assessment. It's spread across different systems. It's fragmented, and it leads to a lot of delays and processing times. So because of which the turnaround time and the operational risk increases. So moving on. So the primary personas that we are targeting is the credit underwriters who work in NBFCs, fintechs, and mid-sized banks. And then the secondary persona will be the credit underwriter who will step in when there is an escalation, and credit manager who looks at the portfolio level. And then the risk analyst, compliance, and the internal audit teams who will be mostly consuming the decision trails. And then the end beneficiaries are the applicants. So the salaried, self-employed, and the sole proprietors. So yeah, I'll summarize quickly the key pain points, both from the lenders and from the applicant perspective. So for the lenders, it's like the volumes are huge. So there is huge operational backlogs. And it's also error prone because it's based on manual reconciliation. And it takes on an average around 5 to 7 days for processing any loan application. And so the application, the communication that is sent to the applicant post processing is also like templated and often sometimes incorrect as well. So for the applicant, he has to wait for a long time. So and also there is a lack of transparency. He feels there's a perceived lack of transparency that the decisions are not biased or it's unfair. Yeah. So this is how we have designed the agentic system. So I'll move on to the workflow where I'll talk quickly. Yeah. So here, how we have designed our prototype is that the user will upload the documents, so that we have a document parser agent that will extract the relevant information from the application form, bank statement, payslip, and so on. And then there'll be parallel execution happening. So credit score agent that will fetch the credit score through an API calling that happens from the credit bureaus. And then the validation agent that will check for any missing documents or any inconsistencies like name mismatch, signature mismatch, income mismatch. And then the output goes to the risk assessment agent, which will give a risk score based on the credit score, the EMI and the bank balances, existing EMIs, and so on. And then the decision layer, which applies the decision rules, and it will give the decision whether approved, reject, or need more documents. And then an email routing agent that will send the email to both the internal stakeholders and to the applicant. Yeah, next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So, yes, this system offers tangible benefits, like it reduces you are able to satisfy the customers because of taking faster decisions, and there is increased accuracy. And operational overheads are reducing, and also there's enhanced compliance and auditability. So now I'll hand it over to Rajiv for the prototype.
Thank you, Rekha. Hi, everyone. Rajiv this side. So as Rekha mentioned, we have created like these different agents, and as you can see that those agents are here. And apart from these agents, we have created like a governance file as well. So I'll just open this governance file for just explaining for the sake of it. So what we do is that apart from the agents, it will, before making a decision, it will also check the policies, the governance policies. For example, the agent should never make a decision based on someone's religion or gender, caste, or marital status, things like that, right? And we have explicitly mentioned like what are the permitted decision factors. So this is to avoid any sort of hallucination. And this is clearly mentioned here, and without updating anything on the agent side, what we have created, like if anything changes in the governance policy, you can go and update it in the governance policy. Now moving on, I'll be just demoing the prototype. Oh, not so. Yeah, okay. So here, this is the application what we have created. And let me just use this one. So this is something I've already uploaded. So I've uploaded like an employee's bank statement, application form, and pay slips. These are the three documents which we currently ask from an applicant. And once you upload this and click process application, then each agent will perform its duty. Like the document parser will parse all the details which we require. The credit score will right now, like, it's not connected to the credit bureau. Else, like, we'll have to connect it to credit bureau to pull the credit score of the applicant based on their PAN card. And then we will do the validation. So when you click on each of them, you can see what is the system prompt we have given for the agent and what is the agent output, right? And for each one, you can see like, if so this validation, like we have mentioned, if missing document, inconsistency, or like, make any flags. So here the flag is that EM to income ratio appears high. So that's something like, it has already flagged. And also as an inconsistency, it has flagged that there is a salary mismatch between, what they have submitted in the application form versus what's there in their payslip. Because of all this, it made a decision. Even the score is very high, 92 out of 100. Like, so this should be approved. But since because of the inconsistency, like it went for manual review. And as an agent, like it gives you the reasoning as well. So I think like, this is the benefit, like what you get from rather than using like a normal workflow. If there is any uncertainty, plus like, if you need reasoning, agents can be very handy. And here you can see all the breakdown as well as like the final email. Now, since this person has got like good score, but the only problem is like, with the small mismatch, it has sent an email to the senior credit officer. Now,
Give me a few minutes.
yeah, sure. I can try to upload something just to show how this works. So let's see file 3. If I upload. Yeah, so this is how it works. I just wanted to show how it works in real time. I just loaded it because, it takes a bit of time. Yeah. So again, like there is a manual review because there is a salary mismatch. Like it's just that I don't have time, else like I can show you all the use cases. So it will show like, when it is rejected, it will send in notification to the applicant saying that it's rejected and the reason why it's rejected. Plus like, if any document is missing, it will do the same. And if it's approved, like, it will send a mail to the applicant as well as like, to the senior officer. Now going back, so as the next step, I think like, it'll be good for us to like do some integrations. Like, for example, we need to integrate with the loan origination system, as well as like, once we do this evaluation, like it'll be good to integrate with the loan management system to like, push the details, plus the credit bureaus to get the credit score of the employee, and KYC providers to verify like, the KYC details of the applicant. And as well as like, the security layer, right? Since this considers a lot of sensitive documents, we need to ensure that it's encrypted. And also whenever we are passing this information to AI, all the personal information is like masked. And in terms of like, continuous improvement and ethical AI, we want to ensure that the system can be deployed in cloud as well as on-premise, because certain banks, they would want like, to deploy this on-premise due to like, security concerns. And in terms of adaptability, like again, depending on like, different banks, there will be like different requirements. So the system should be adaptable. And like I mentioned earlier, like we need to ensure whatever data we are passing to the AI, that's like all the security guidelines are like, followed over there. And also like in the governance document, like how we mentioned all the governance policies, like we need to mention there is no bias towards any applicant. And the final conclusion is that we feel that currently this process is very manual in the banking system. And once we implement this, we are pretty sure that this can save a lot of time for both like, the banks as well as the applicant. And yeah, pretty much, that's what we wanted to show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you so much. Aravind sir, your questions and feedback for team 2.
Yeah, so have you thought deeply about like what are the different mistakes that can happen through the model or through the entire system, and classified those mistakes, and maybe what is the cost of each mistake, and how do you take these trade-off decisions that which mistake should be addressed first, and how will you address it? So just wanted to understand that part.
So I think this is like one of the main reasons why we went ahead and created like different agents, so that we can control like what each agent can do, right? In like we have not like mentioned like what mistakes it can do. Like instead of that, like we have tried to avoid any mistakes. For example, like in the prompt itself, like, we have given that if you're not confident, then like, just don't like approve something, right? Like send or escalate it to the senior manager, like, if you're not sure about it. So one of the reasons why we had to like, split this into multiple agents was that we could control it, and we could make sure that it performs only its duty. And also like, if something goes something it's not sure of, like, then that's escalated rather than the AI taking its own decision.
So just adding to that, right now the user, we upload the documents manually. So in the future roadmap, we are looking to integrate with the CRM systems or with the credit bureau system, so that we are able to fetch the credit score real time, and we are able to validate it. So that's part of the roadmap that we are envisaging.
Got it, got it. So, generally, confident hallucination is a trait of these models, right? And millions of dollars has gone into training the model to confidently tell an answer which it thinks you will like. So, one line of your prompt saying that if you're confident, just confess and say, I don't know, is fighting a battle against millions of dollars of training. So it's not that easy. So like anyhow, iterating more on that, and seeing the edge cases where your current system might need improvement, that will probably be a great learning exercise, right? Like nobody knows the entirety of it. The more we explore that area, we tend to learn a lot of important things. That is one thing. And there is the regulatory landscape also that becomes really important in this problem statement, right? So, and either the regulatory landscape could move relatively fast, things can change around, or it is notoriously hard to have digital and clear interpreted directions as to what is allowed versus not. So, how are you thinking of your system being able to handle this kind of uncertainty and lack of clarity?
So right now it is heavily rule-based. So this system will help to reduce the manual intervention that is taken by the credit underwriter. At least by 50%, it will reduce the turnaround time, and it will speeden up the the processing time. So by 20-30%. So as an industry, I think we'll be moving towards faster loan processing, faster decision making, right? So this is this is going hand in hand with that, and so I think it will help. It will help solve that problem.
Okay, okay. And overall, what is the metric that you are trying to maximize here?
Reducing the decision that is taken for processing.
Okay, okay. So basically, I mean, there's not a wrong answer per se, it's an important factor, but think about it this way that let's say hypothetically, there are lakhs of applications, whatever, in the backlog because the current system is suboptimal. You put in a agentic system and all the lakhs of applications got processed in a day or in matter of minutes also, like it's just computing, it can run. So you have maximized your metric. Is that like mission accomplished, or is there more to it? So that is one line of thinking you can probably do more deeply. And maybe a slight funny last aside or question is, it's good that after showing the score or alongside showing the score, your agent, you have constructed that way that it asks for manual oversight, etc. But if the score is 100 and 92 on 100, etc., and then manual oversight is still necessary, you might want to revisit the score calculation itself, right? Like it's looking intuitively wrong. Like the question pops up, why wasn't the score lesser?
Yeah. So just like, regarding the metrics are like, of course, it's going to be like the reduction in time, right? And a lot of this is repetitive tasks. Like someone is like sitting and looking into the documents and verifying. So what we want to do is that take off that time. Time is money. So we'll be removing that repetitive tasks, like, from people. So they get that they get their time back. Plus, like, I think this will improve customer satisfaction, since like the time taken to process a loan will be way less, like if we can automate this.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. And I take your point on the scoring. Yeah. That scoring is like, only for us. Basically, we are not going to tell the customer, like, or the applicant about it. But I completely get that. Yeah. It's a fair point. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Pulkit sir, you want to go ahead next?
Sure. So that's a very nice, problem which you have thought about the loan decision system, and using agentic AI to automate end-to-end process. But have you also thought about, there are some of the, because in all the layers, you have thought about, this agent will do this validation and sort of a thing. But already couple of, if we take example from the document scanner or OCR, let's say an example, right? So have you also thought about some existing systems which are, solving this problem? The output of those systems could be utilized by agents to solve another problem. So because I in the end-to-end workflow or framework I didn't see. So what is your approach on that part?
Yeah, no, that's a good point, sir. Like, I think we can definitely like use parts of things like from working systems and rest, like, agentic. But one thing I think useful with agentic is that it behaves well when it is uncertain, like, and it comes with reasoning, right? So if you have, like, OCR systems, like, I think now AI is doing a really good job. Like, even we have started using like AI in terms of replacing OCR, like traditional OCR, like, with AI. So I think we can still use AI, or like we could use, like, something which we think is more beneficial, like which is working well in terms of the files that it's in taking, right? But when it comes to bank and pay slips and things like that, it can have different formats. So maybe AI can behave better over there. But that being said, like, I think parts of it can still be a workflow. But when it comes to email, for example, that's completely done by the AI. Like, we are not showing any template or anything like that. So it's completely using LLM, and the AI get the context from the decision agent, and then based on that, it is the one who's drafting the email and sending it, right? So I think in parts of like workflow versus agentic, I feel that under uncertainty, I feel that like, agents will behave well. But if it's a workflow engine, you will have to think about every single scenario and, kind of incorporate it, else it'll fail.
Sure. And then my second point is related to the some quantitative numbers, because when you say that the time to loan, we didn't see any numbers that these many loans are under process or this much down it will take. So those kind of a numbers I see it was kind of missing. But at the same time, you talked about the metrics or the North Star metrics is the time saving. But again, it's not very much reflecting in the slides. But when asked, I guess Rekha and you talked about
Oh,
it.
it was mentioned in the slide, sir, like in the initial slide, like the average time taken for like loan processing is like up to 7 days. Like we had shown that in the slide, like, sorry if it was not that.
No, it was there. 5 to 10 days. It does take, but at the
Yeah.
same time, how many loans? Meaning,
Oh, okay. Okay.
those kind of
Okay.
maybe in India, US, and all those sort of a thing. So that
Okay.
can, because that will ultimate convert your hours into dollar value,
Yeah, yeah, of
and
course.
dollar
Yeah.
value is what we always see at the end of the day. It's all
Yeah.
about the dollar saving, right?
Got
So
it.
Yeah.
sure, that's
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Rajiv, Frederick, sir, your questions and
Hey, hi.
feedback.
Sure. So I think the first question again, I hope you guys were there when the team gave the feedback for the previous one. So again, I'm not repeating those, but I think you should carry forward those feedback as well here
Yeah.
on many things. But three things I want to highlight. Number one, I saw the primary persona as like mid-sized banks. Why that segment?
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, yeah, go ahead, Rekha.
yeah, so large banks, they have their own legacy system, so it will be difficult to have that integrated. So that's why we thought we'll target mid-sized banks, fintechs.
Okay. Okay, got it. Yeah, makes sense. You're saying like maybe the bigger banks, it's very hard to sort of like change the system right now. Maybe they are slow, while mid-sized banks like they're like ready to adapt any new technology. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the second thing is the more and more I heard the presentation, it felt that we are choosing a very deterministic path. The agent pipeline, the agent is only the prefix there, but it's a perfect pipeline. I mean, like you input something, the user doesn't need to worry about, he just waits, he gets an output like, hey, qualified, not qualified, right? So there is no, I'm not, I mean, or at least it didn't come out like, is this an agentic? I mean, you guys have to go, I mean, yeah, we can do with agents, but the question is, it would have been much more simpler if this is done with workflow, because like every input output seems very deterministic, right? I mean, obviously you're using LLM again. We can use LLM at every pipeline or flow that you have got, but building this, maybe if there are more use cases, agent might come and add in here. But at least for me, when I looked at the flow chart, it looks super deterministic, very simple to implement with the workflow automation. And I mean, if you guys are already implementing, I mean, if this is just for the presentation you have pitched it, that's fine, you can consider. But if you're implementing it in work, then yeah, definitely I would want to hear more about.
Yeah. I can take that, sir. Like, especially like, since it's bank, we all know that AI and LLMs, like, it's all probabilistic. But like in this case, we want the output to be deterministic, right? Like, I mean, for this use case, it cannot be like probabilistic. And talking about like, using AI, let's say if in terms of validations, like one validation, what I mentioned was if there is a mismatch in your name, like from the payslip versus your application form, like for example, right? Like there can be like few examples I can give to AI, but if you think about workflow, like then I'll have to basically code everything. Like I'll have to mention everything one by one. So I feel that in such validations, AI will fare like better. Like if it sees any discrepancies, like if I just mention like name, but if it sees like, some other discrepancy, then it'll automatically tell me that, okay, this has like some problem, right? Like I don't have to mention that like to the AI every case possibly there. Similarly, if you look at the email, which I just mentioned to Pulkit sir also, that you don't need all these templates. The email agent is basically using all this data what you get, and then it is drafting the emails automatically, and it's triggering, right? So we want the solution to be deterministic, but at the same time we want to harness the power of AI, so that like it's easier for us to implement rather than like being in traditional workflow.
True. Again, like I think the point I'm trying to make is you have to use LLM. So when I'm saying like, so there is a traditional model where, I mean, traditional implementation without LLM, but I'm talking about like right now with LLM into the mix, you still have a workflow with LLM incorporated versus an agent. An agent is like more, as you rightly said, probabilistic, more dynamic, lot of decision making, user continue to interact with the system. So there's a lot more characteristics an agent can bring in. You just give the goal, the agent goes, finds the path, but here the path is well defined. Like email, you need LLM, right? LLM can, I mean, you don't need to specify the template. That's what we did in the past. But now LLM can identify the inconsistency. LLM can identify. So I think like that's the point I'm making. But yeah, like maybe there is something more which is not coming out. But I understand the importance of using LLM and AI in order for you to like help you in this workflow.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome. I think those are the stuff I had. Again, like the rest all covered by others. But yeah, thank you again. Thank you for this presentation. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Great
Thank you
stuff.
so much.
All right, we'll go for the scores now. Aravindh, sir, your scores for the team?
I'll go with 3. Basically, a lot of strong things going in terms of understanding the value add that generative AI brings into the mix, I guess. But in terms of this problem statement itself, it's way more sensitive, like loan approvals, etc. There is a lot of money at stake. That is one angle of sensitivity. There is also, let's say, the bias, interpretability, etc. I know the team did mention that LLM removes some bias, it gives some reasoning, etc. But it also throws in its own imaginative reasoning also sometimes, which doesn't hold up in at least the regulatory environment of today. So some of those nuances are potentially next steps to understand more about. But in general, good presentation and a good attempt at looking at this problem.
Thank you, sir. Pulkit, sir, your scores for the team?
I would like to give 4 to the, especially to the problem. Again, a very, nice problem to solve. Though there are a couple of, pros and cons to solve this kind of a problem, but very thoughtful to, keep this kind of a problem on the table and then coming up with some solution. Though there are many, I would say, many things which can be done on top of it. But if it is just for this project, not being the actual work, definitely good to go.
Frederick, sir, your scores for the team?
Yeah, so I will give 3. Again, the reason I talked about is like I trying to identify the difference between workflow versus agent, especially for this solution. And also I looked at like a lot talked about manual. I mean, like this loaning decision requires like a lot of manual work. I felt if they had dived a little bit deep into, is it manual in terms of the early phase of loan decision where someone takes the documents, reads it manually, or is it manual in every pipeline? Because like I anticipate, again, like I don't know this area, but I anticipate the manual work is more on the early stage. But once the documents are all good, there is a system that's built in that sort of like gives the score all this. So for me, like that didn't come out. So I think overall, I felt like that's the reason I'm giving 3. But again, thank you for sharing this.
Thank you, Frederick, sir. All right, we'll go for the audience poll now. Just 1 minute. Yeah, audience, please take your smartphone and scan this QR code and cast your votes for team 2. You have 20 seconds. All right, Time's up. Let's move and see the audience poll for team 2. Yeah, that's the audience poll for team 2. All the best, team. And with that, we are actually in the close of the event today. And first of all, thank you all the participants and your innovative work, and thank you audience for voting. And special thanks to all the jury members. And I would like to take a moment and appreciate, and it's a pleasure to host you also. And yeah, we have token of appreciations, but before that, I would like to hear few words from each juries before we wrap up. First up, we'll start with Frederick sir. So, how was your experience today? How was your evening? And please share your insight for the aspiring product aspirants and the AI leaders. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Again, first of all, thank you to the, do we say IPL? I mean, like you guys have like encouraging the students to have the skillathon, like ability to have such sort of projects where the team can present like agent related work. I think again, thanks for taking this initiative and nurturing the students to sort of like share their perspective around agents, right? And the second thing is there's a lot of buzz around AI, a lot of buzz around building agents, and the future is, I mean, AI, right? I mean, like there are a lot of disruption happening within the company, so please jump on it. This is an opportunity for us to learn the depth and sort of like the breadth of any functions. Like if it's product management, one thing that we are realizing within the company is it's not all about you writing a product requirement document and handing it off to a developer, right? I think the expectation is, I mean, there is a term that's getting coined called like solopreneur, where you have to end up being one person building the product end to end, right? Which means you need to know how things are happen on the other side of the world, which you didn't know about it earlier, right? So try to have that mindset. You have the best engineers, architects in the form of LLM in front of you, best expert people in the form of LLM who are like helping you to drive things and make your feature product come out in a shape that you want. So like all the best, continue to invest more in AI, depth and breadth matters here, and start using LLMs more to understand what you can deliver. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure to have you. Great, and thanks for your insights. Yeah. Next, we have Pulkit sir. So, share experience. I know you asked a lot of questions and countering, and yeah, yeah. Please go ahead, sir. Yes.
So this is something very interesting for me, especially working with or this kind of a skillthons we do organize at a company level, and so thank you so much for having me as a jury member today. Really appreciate the efforts which IPL is doing at this moment in time. And my message, as Frederick was talking about, AI is a buzzword, and what not to do or what to do is still a big question for us. But for the aspiring product managers or the PM already working as a PMs, a very basic difference I'll just talk about. Earlier, we used to think, what feature should I deliver to the market as a product manager? What should I deliver to the market and make some value addition to it? Now we need to think how intelligent how intelligent my feature would be. So there's a shift, a traditional feature versus my feature should be intelligent enough to solve my customer's problem. So that's where the industry is going at this moment in time. And you see the entire, 180-degree flip which is happening, and it is going to continue. And we as a product managers or aspiring PMs need to, come up with such use cases to solve the problem into various industries, be it, loan industry, finance industry, healthcare, or be it any other support industry. So, we need to identify those potential problems and come up with some intelligent solution. How my, my intelligent feature will solve these problems on their own. So that's a message which thought I'll give. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Arvind sir, your final words, your final thoughts.
Yeah, so would like to echo what the other jury members were saying, right? it's an appreciable thing for IPL to do this, as well as for the folks here on the call to participate and like put themselves in the arena, so to speak, right? Like even though you would have heard of some flaws identified or some suggestions provided, think of it in this context that millions or hundreds of millions of people are there who have maybe not even seen 1% of what you saw while trying to do this project, right? And you're already in the forefront when it comes to a lot of these very necessary things to learn about. It's one of the biggest transformations that is happening as we speak around the world, and it's exciting times in the sense that earlier there would have been bottlenecks. Let's say you are a person who is not very technically savvy, have not coded, etc. There are certain doors that are locked to you. You can't build a product per se. Maybe you are only able to provide ideas, requirements, and you're dependent on others. That's no longer the case. Like as Frederick, I think, rightly mentioned, you have at your beck and call the best developers in the world, best set of architects, etc., in the world available to you. So it's fairly exciting times, and would urge all folks here to continue learning and trying and dabbling and coming through better as an outcome of that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Julius. We appreciate your time and presence on this platform. The insightful feedback and questions will encourage the students to look into product with more clarity. Okay, so now it's time to declare the winners. Let's go and announce the winners. Surprisingly, audience, you have any guesses? If you have any guesses, please put in the comment section. By the way, the Skillathon winner will also get a gift voucher of 1,000 rupees. And surprisingly, we have two winners. It got tied. So congratulations both the team, and wishing you all the best. And yeah, please, anyone from two teams can open up and share your experience for today.
Yeah, I think I can go first. First of all,
Yeah.
thanks a lot for this opportunity. And thank you, judges, for all the insightful feedback. I think that has been really helpful. As you rightly said that, both me and Rega, we are PMs, we are product managers, and we don't have any coding background. And this is something which we built up from scratch using Cloud Code. So it was very easy, and even the presentation we use Gamma. So that's AI again, all the documents we uploaded was also built in AI. So pretty much the entire thing was AI. So I think this was a great experience, and thank you so much for all the feedback. It's each day you learn something new.
Thank you, Rajiv. Yeah, Bhavna, you want to go next? Harish, Bhavna?
Yeah. Again, thank you for this opportunity, IPL, and thank you for your time, jury, once again. As Rajiv mentioned, of course, tools are handy, but what we learned from this is how we should have a thought process while proposing and building the products which can help in industry and make impact on people's lives. That is something we really admire, and thank you again.
Thank you, Bhavna. All right, so with that, we'll wrap the session. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you, juries, once again. Have a good evening. Happy weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks.
guys. Yeah, bye.
Okay.
Thank you.